I will go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. All right, so I hope everyone is doing well. I don't know if we all heard, but I think Ann sent something out to us. It said that the budget we thought we had to spend for the end of the year is not actually there, so we don't have a whole lot to discuss at this meeting. So I figured it'd be a good time just to check in, talk about a few things, and we can enjoy the beautiful evening that is out there. So first on the agenda, I think we have to read the
Open meeting laws.
law. So I could do that real quick.
Okay, go.
So in accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 20, relating to the 2020 novel coronavirus outbreak emergency, the June 16th, 2020, 7 p.m. public meeting of the Norfolk Recreation Commission shall be physically closed to the public to avoid group congregation. Alternative public access to this meeting shall be done via Zoom online video conferencing. This application will allow users to view the meeting and provide comments during allocated windows as outlined in the board's public comment policy. To join, follow the web link or the call-in or call the dial-in number listed below under the start time call to order. The meeting will be recorded for future rebroadcast by Norfolk Community Television. For more information on getting connected and using the video conference features, please visit the Town of Norfolk website. All right, so it's a lot, but important. So let me just open the agenda here. So first on the agenda is just reviewing and accepting the meeting minutes from last time. Did everyone have a chance to look at those?
Yep.
All right, then I saw one thing on there. Synergy landscape, I guess just for the record, it's spelled with an S, not a C. That's under the field maintenance project update.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, it's with an S. Mark, Liza, Brendan, anything else? All right, then I will make a motion to accept the May 26, 2020 meeting minutes with the one change you mentioned.
Seconded.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Passes unanimously. We have the citizen speak portion. Donna, do you have anything you'd like?
Yes, two, please.
Okay, go for it.
What's the status of the well on Boardman Street?
So the CPC, that's a CPC funded project. That was being worked on last year. We had to wait probably about 6 months for the electric company to give us the okay and get back to us and let us know the cost of hooking up the electricity. And that brought us into, honestly, like November, December. So at that point, it was really too late to proceed with any more work last year because of the next step is partially drilling.
Right.
Then this spring happened. And frankly, I haven't done anything with it this spring. I've been straight out with getting everything ready for this, canceling all the spring programs and figuring out what we're going to do for the summer, and also taking care of the fields for this spring. So once things, I hope, settle down a little bit, I will be back on that project.
Okay. And the other thing is some of the agendas have that NCTV will show these meetings. Are you sharing the files, or did
They are. I think that
a copy and paste issue?
they are being shared. They're recorded, and I think that Will had read that in the beginning, the opening part.
Right.
I'd be happy to help you with that later.
Yeah, I just wondered if, normally they don't send a camera to your meetings. And
So we record the meetings, and that file is sent, as far as I understand. But I can look into that further.
No, I'll check with Katie.
Okay.
to see if she,
If she doesn't have them, they have been recorded, so we do have record of them.
okay,
Okay?
thank you very much. And I tried to send new members your way, new commission members your way.
We'll
Thanks.
find out next week. We got to make sure Mark gets back on. So,
Yeah.
or anything else.
Well, I
Um,
did do I don't know if this is relevant, you can tell me to stop. When I did the interview thing, one of the other candidates mentioned that their husband is going to run for a write-in position. So we got somebody who they mentioned it in the interview. So maybe.
Yeah, I've heard of at least 3. So it's gonna be interesting to see
Yeah.
what happens. So it's good to hear people interested in what we do. I think
It's great.
role in people's lives than they think. So it's good to see. And Donna, I know to your point, for some reason, they do post a lot of the meetings on YouTube afterwards. Ours never get posted, and these ones, so I don't know if that's an us issue or a NCTV issue. So
I'll follow up with them. Thank you.
not a problem. All right, and actually that dovetails right into the next agenda item, and that is just to thank Brendan for all your fantastic work on the commission. I know I'll miss you, and I think we all will. I know working with you through baseball, how much you care about not only the kids in town, but all the educational programming. So just wanted to take this time to thank you and say we're going to miss you here on the commission.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Will, and thanks everybody. It's been an awesome 3 years and stuff. Just as you know, as Ann preluded to, last meeting, it's just there's a lot of other things that come up that I got to start stepping back from a lot of the things that I volunteer for. So it's about that time here. But with that, I'm pretty proud of what we've been able to do the last 3 years of expanding, some of the options that have been out there. Mark is, well aware, as Mark and I first came on, trying to expand out things that weren't just sport, was a key thing for his, which was big. And honestly for me was to try to see, what else we could do. It wasn't just primarily baseball, but it was just trying to also, what other things are out there that people need. And I'm pretty proud. I think we all did a great job in 3 years, and looking forward to seeing what this board can do moving forward. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Brendan. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure having
Brendan.
you on the board.
Take care.
You're always welcome to come attend anytime. I'll let you speak, the first person all the time. So you don't need to worry about that. All right. So programming update. Obviously, Ann sent around the list of programs that she plans to run this summer, which I'm sure will be entered into the public record. But Ann, if you would like to say anything in addition.
So as you can see, the list is a lot shorter than what our usual list would be. We've probably had to cancel about 2/3 of our summer lineup, but we do have a plan for classroom type programs. They will be held at the town hall. I do not expect to be able to use the school. I was told I was not being able to use the school for anything this summer. At that point, I did go back to Ingrid and I asked her about being able to run kindergarten readiness, which is a program that we have probably close to 40 people signed up for in August. And it really is a program that should take place in a kindergarten room at the HL of Day School. So since the program is late in August, Ingrid didn't say no. I think there's still a possibility that program would run. I think that I know she knows the importance of it, and I know she knows the importance of having it at the school. There are towns that are allowing recreation programs to use schools this summer. So it's not a state mandate that we aren't able to use the schools. It's a choice that Norfolk Public Schools and also King Philip has made. And that's fine that they made the decision. I'm sure they have very good reasons for it. However, there may be some flexibility with that decision, and especially because it's a program that runs late in August.
And I think it dovetails into the school year too. It's not just, marbles for kids, it's
Yeah, no,
readiness. So I think there's an argument to be made for that.
right. It's an important program. And I've talked to Ingrid about the program even, before, and Mrs. Balfour about the program. And, it's really a collaborative effort. We're offering it for the children in Norfolk to get accustomed to kindergarten. So everyone knows the value of the program. So if if they can let us use the schools, that would be great. We have told people that we are just waiting to hear. And there's no doubt that Ingrid has a huge amount on her plate. So, and it is 2 months away. So I think there are probably more pressing items at this very moment, but hopefully she'll be able to address it soon.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. No cases in August.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
No, right.
Mhm.
So other than that, so the classroom programs will be held at the town hall. I have measured out the multi-purpose room, and I have bought 10 individual tables, or 11 individual tables. They're 18 by 26, and there's with 6 feet on to each side. We can fit 12, but we can really only have 11 based on the state guidelines. So we have 11 stations set up, and that also allows for a fairly large space for the teacher. So it's really a nice setup, because masks won't be required as long as the kids are at their stations, because we have enough distance. We also have the ability to go outside, and then we've done this in the past for programs that have been held at the town hall, that we've gone over and used the town hill, to have a break, or, to run around the town hill a little bit. So it also gives us some nice outdoor space. The sports programs that we're going to be running, we are running with programs, mini sports and super sports with Fast Athletics, and they do have a COVID-19 policy in place, which includes 6-foot distancing, and a lot of it is drills, and they've been doing this for a long time, and they feel that they have a plan. They have coaches for every group of 10. You can't mix the group. It's the same thing that applies to our programs. So that is in place, and that those will be running. We'll also be doing tennis lessons, which I haven't set up yet. That's the one thing that hasn't been set up yet, but we'll be moving. So the sports programs from the outside people will be held at Pond Street. I'm moving our summer program to the Freeman Kennedy School, and I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. One, and probably primarily, is because it's got more natural shade than any other location. Hopefully the fields will hold up a little bit. I've also talked to the water department, and because we have to social distance, instead of putting a sprinkler on, I can put the irrigation system on one line of the football field, and that's 100 yards of social distancing while running through potable water, which I can't use an irrigation well to have kids run through. I have to have potable water. So it's basically the same thing as turning on a sprinkler system, but it's over 100 yards, which really works out quite well. The other important factor that works out, again, very well for Freeman Kennedy is that I have to have groups dropped off at separate times. So at Freeman Kennedy, there are actually 3 gates to the program, to the fields. So I can have 3 separate groups dropped off at 8:45, and I can have 3 separate groups dropped off at 9 o'clock, rather than just one group dropped off and spreading it over an hour. So that, again, it works out well. And if by any chance the school does decide that we can use their bathrooms or the gym in case of emergency weather, that will be a nice thing for them, to do. But I understand if they can't, but if they could, that would be terrific. And so we'll be there. So they have the option if they change their mind.
How is the attendance looking, or like the registration in comparison to?
I haven't opened registration yet.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I've had to figure out, so that I don't know if you can see those are my state requirements. So I've gone through those, and then I've reached out to all the counselors, and I've given them the option of working or not working. There are a lot more requirements involved, and I have to increase staff. So I have heard back from a fair amount. There are about 3 or 4 that are not coming back because of the changes, and also, one of the changes is we can't intermingle people. So once we have a group of 10 and 2 counselors, they're the unit for the week. I can't have 2 other counselors with those group of 10. They have to remain the same. So what that doesn't allow for is if someone needs a day off here and there, they can't get the day off and then come back in. So it's just the way it is. If someone can work a Monday and Tuesday. If they need a Wednesday and Thursday off or a Wednesday off, they're out for the week. And then I have to have a substitute teacher. It's also, it's one of the requirements for the state as well, is to have additional staff to sub in. I also have to have additional staff to take all the COVID readings prior to drop off. And, that's all in play. So, and I've come up with a plan to have individual kits for everyone so people aren't using or sharing equipment. We also have lots of gel sanitizer on order and a lot of disinfectant as well.
Are we planning to do the temperature taking? I thought I saw it's optional now, but are we still opting to do it?
I'm not sure where you saw that it was optional.
I saw a news heading somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes they don't, they say
It
it, but
depends-
then they don't tell you the details.
And it depends on the category too. I think we've learned.
Right, so although we're not a licensed camp, we don't need to be a licensed camp, we follow all the rules for the camps. So yes, we will be taking temperatures.
Yeah, this says Baker administration is relaxing some childcare and summer camp reopening guidelines. Among the changes, encouraging rather than mandating use of masks for children under 2 and eliminating temperature checks. I don't know. That was from the Globe. I don't know what the details are, but.
Yeah, so was that from today?
Yeah, that came out. Well, it's probably something from this morning or yesterday night. It's
So,
like the mask from today.
But hold on, eliminating masks for children under 2? That's what it says?
Yes.
So masks, you're actually not, it's never been a requirement to put a mask on a child?
I didn't
under
think
2?
so.
Yeah, so I'll look, but thank you for let me know. I'll look into it further. I mean, I have honestly, I've been dealing with field issues today, so I've been.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even wise to not do it, but it might be good to know if we don't have to in case we run into a tight spot or something.
So the school, the town actually provided us. We bought 2 of the thermometers, but the town also provided us with some. So we have one at every place. And quite frankly, even if COVID wasn't around, it's not a bad idea to take kids.
No, I agree.
So it's just not a bad idea. I mean, it could be a strep throat. So it's fine. I'd much rather be have tighter requirements than looser requirements.
I agree. That's one of those things that might stay around after this is over.
Yeah, well, we actually do with our preschool programs, we have a thermometer there in case we need it. So it's always it's not a bad idea at all.
All right. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add on programming?
Yeah, just important. So, Anne, what's your guess of when the things are going to be open for the summer program? Open up the camp.
So I'm hoping to get that done this week. I have to do the layout. I actually have a rough draft of everything I'm going to put in. But part of the requirements is to have the procedures written as well. So it's quite a lot of writing, but I'm really going to be trying very hard to get that done this week. And hopefully
you can find a lot of cut and paste.
Yeah. I know. I wish I keep hoping that some other town would share everything they do and then I could just copy it.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of calls and Kim is as well, just giving you a heads up regards of interest to this. And because of everyone's home, I expect a huge amount of people signing up.
So the good news is we can do it. I mean, the people might be, I really need to figure out the price. At first I thought it was going to be about $99, but because I have to literally have extra staff. I mean, some of the requirement literally says you need to hire extra staff to do the cleaning, and we need to, and since we have to use portable toilets, they have to be cleaned and sanitized every day by the company. So I really just, I also, before I set the price, I want to make sure I double check everything and go over everything. Just to make sure I'm, accurate.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good. I'm just giving you a heads up because Kim has been telling me and others when I've been doing the baseball evaluations and practices we've done this week. Everyone's been asking me about it. So.
Well, that's great. That's
which is
great
good.
news. Yeah, that's great. I was, it's such a different program that we've run in the past, but it's very similar to what a typical camp-like program would be. So it really should be fun. And, and if everything goes well and we are able to loosen up requirements, later in July, beginning of August, that'll make it even that much, more of a group effort. But we can do this.
Yep. All good.
Yep.
And just give me and tell me 5 minutes before you tell everybody else too.
Okay. I will. I'll keep you on the distribution list.
Perfect.
One other thing
That's all
I
I
just
had.
wanted to add, do you want me to talk about the concerts as part of the programs?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, so we got back in touch with everyone. CPAC is the special ed group, and they were the only person that had a concert scheduled in August. And they got back to me just yesterday saying that they don't have the money to fund it. So that concert is off the table, or maybe on the table if we find another funding source. So, other than that, Kathy got in touch with Ayla, and Kathy got in touch with Can Do, and I don't have the list in front of me. Kathy got in touch with the Franklin School of Performing Arts. And all of them are willing to reschedule. And I got in touch with Kim Williams, who had originally asked to sponsor Franklin School of Performing Arts, and she's still willing to sponsor them. And the Lions got back to me, and they're still willing to donate $1,000 for Ayla. So their only stipulation is that it's in person. They don't want to sponsor a virtual concert. So we can move forward and reschedule those. We can do Thursday nights in August. We would probably have to start earlier due to the sun going down earlier and mosquitoes. Or the other option is Sunday evenings, like earlier, like a 5 o'clock on a Sunday. It might be a nice end to the week.
Yeah, what does Retham typically do? Do they do Sunday nights?
They do 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think 6 o'clock.
I think August might be a window right now. I mean, everything remains to be seen, but everyone talks about the second spike in the fall, and I think August could be a potential time where something like this might be allowed. Obviously, we'd have to probably pay attention to keeping people, distanced as best we can, and I know there were rallies this week with people with masks on and all these things.
We would say that they're all, everything's subject to what the state requirements are at the time. Although I will say I get a little bit nervous about some of the groups I see that don't have masks on. And it's not just teenagers by any means.
Yeah, but I think it would be a real good source. I think, like Brendan said, people are around the summer, probably looking for something to do. And if that can be done safely outside, which I think it can be, hopefully, at that time, with people just sitting at a reasonable distance from one another, I think it would be a pretty cool thing to do.
So just, you can, if anyone has an opinion about a Thursday evening, I know by the second week in August, usually, our concerts usually run 6:30 to 8, but sundown is by 8. So the mosquitoes are coming in by the second week of August. So if we're going to, we would probably need to start it at 5:30. If we were going to do August on a Thursday evening.
Yeah, let's hope for no AAA this year.
Yeah.
The last thing we need. That might be.
Or Sundays. We could do, pardon me?
I go back and forth. Thursday nights, they would just be in August. When would school theoretically start? Do we know yet?
I don't know that they've actually set a date, or I don't know that they haven't either. They usually set it in February, but I'm sure with everything changing, I don't know where they are. I mean, last year they started, let's see, you know, it's really right around the very end of August. The very, very end. Last week it was in September. Last year it was in September, I believe, the actual start date. Actually, the 28th. It says the 28th was the first day of August last year. So, I mean,
Next year it's going to start on August 31st.
okay, so we have 4 weeks.
September 1st, middle school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I'm
I
just
mean,
looking at the calendar now.
I don't know how other people feel. I always feel like a weekend is better if you want more people to show up, especially if there's not a lot going on. But I also don't have kids, so I don't always know what kids' schedules are like and family schedules are like. So if anyone else has
So, how do people feel about 5 o'clock on a Sunday?
I think that's great.
I think it's a nice wind down.
Mhm.
And what do you
I
think,
agree.
Mark does? And Brendan, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I think 5 is the perfect time because those who might be coming back from the Cape or something like that, they'll just, you know, there's a good opportunity for them just, you know, pull in and just keep their feet up. So
Yep.
yeah, it's good timing.
I'm more comfortable with 5 than later, just because of the mosquitoes. I hate mosquitoes.
Yeah, and I think 5 on a Thursday is tough. So 5 on a
Yeah.
Yeah.
or more sense. I mean, you could even push it to like 4 or 4:30 on a Sunday if you really wanted to too. It
Well,
doesn't really, you know.
I'll actually look at what I usually do is look at the sunset times and go from there. I don't know the sunset times at the end of August.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe you don't know that off the top of your head. I mean,
I could guess.
right, so I think that's a fairly. I think
Okay, so Sundays, late afternoon Sundays,
Yep.
early evening, right? That's the consensus.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Does anyone else have anything on programming?
I actually will add one thing. I got a check today from NCL for $400 for the summer programming, for the grant that we had applied for.
That's nice. Then we could use anything we can take.
That's right, we
We can
sure
take just about
can.
anything at this time.
Can't even tell you. I was looking to see. I'm trying to think of all the games we can play social distancing, and cornhole is one of them. But I need 5. I need 5 sets for us to be able to do it.
All right. So let's do. We'll go on to field and facilities, which I realize it says field and facilities statue in the agenda. So we don't have a statue, but we'll go over the status.
I have
Yet
status.
we don't have one yet.
Yeah, not yet. It's odd. The one I'm looking at has statue on it. Well,
Mine says statue too.
What's the date on yours?
mine's the one that has the reading on the top.
Oh, so mine's not. All right. Well, we'll fix that too.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll do that. We're gonna put up a statue. That's what we're gonna discuss. All right. So just quickly on field and facilities. So obviously we're
Yeah.
operating under.
Well,
the phase
not
two.
not so quickly. So we've been having some problems at Pond Street. If you've noticed, there's some pretty not burnt out, but browner areas. So here's the good news. The well is now working. And we don't need a new pump and we don't need a new pipe, which is huge because those are the 2 pieces those are the 2 older pieces. So been on the phone, and I was at Pond Street for about 3 hours last night, testing the system, trying to figure out why it wasn't pumping the pressure that it should be pumping. It should be at about 75 coming off out of the pump. So the good news is the well guy came out today, and something that sometimes erratically happens, and he said that anyone doing something in the grid, that the same electric grid that we work the pump off, if something needs to be fixed with a transformer and they don't, it's 3-phase and they don't wire it the same way, it reverses the connection to our pump. So he reversed the phases, which honestly only a well guy would know about. But we got back up to the 75 PSI, which is huge. So it's actually all good news at the end of kind of a very fretful week or two, wondering what's going on. So
Good. So, like I said, we're operating under phase 2 right now. I know that baseball has applied to use the fields, and I believe is now using them under the restrictions we put in place. And I know Juventus
Correct. Yep.
put in for use of the fields. I don't know if they've started yet. I don't know if, Ann, you know anything, Brendan, anyone else knows anything? From what I've heard, baseball has been doing well so far.
So we started, baseball started yesterday, where Railroad Field had about 20 kids there. Everyone had like the gaiters or like little masks, for practice. All the parents had some form of face covering. Over at the AAA field at Freeman Kennedy, we had almost 30 kids there. But what's really good about it is that we split it up where there's 10 kids in the outfield, 10 kids in the infield, and 10 kids over by the batting cage. We had 10 adults there. And what we did in our process at each field was, the good thing because of having the gate, was that before kids got in, we sprayed all the kids with the hand sanitizers before going in. And then they put their bags like at every post of throughout the fencing. So they were all distanced. And then before they left, they all got sprayed before leaving with the hand sanitizers. And then we disinfected all the baseballs there was about 24 baseballs that were used that we disinfected after the night. And we did the same thing tonight. So we've been doing pretty well with that. So we blocked off the dugouts. We made sure no one was in the dugouts.
So I will say I saw baseball. They had like the first night out they had, I guess it was last week at Pond Street. I think it was the first time out. And, kudos to everyone, all the coaches and stuff in baseball. They were really doing a great job. The coaches were hitting the ball for the kids to practice catching, so they really were doing a very good job. And the kids were all like lined up, like one kid per section of fence, which was great because they're 8-foot fences. So it went well. And hats off to baseball for really stepping up to the plate and doing everything right.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear it. It's one of those things we really don't know how it's going to work until people get out there. And each of these phases, I've had people reach out to me saying, "No, this doesn't make any sense." And it's like, well, that's what the state wants. But it seems like it's going to be able to work. And I hope in phase 3, it's kind of a little bit, it's kind of like it is now, where it's easy to enforce in terms of numbers. And, it's the first phase was kind of,
it was convoluted.
It was convoluted and it was unenforceable. So I'm hoping because I feel like we're going to be in phase 3 for a while. So I'm hoping it's something that's nice, crystal clear that we can really work off of. I know baseball is excited to get games going, from what I understand. I think I saw they're planning for 15 games per team over the course of about a month and a week. So it's going to be kind
Yeah,
of,
about 3 games a week they're hoping for. Yeah.
so that's
We'll
going to
see.
be, that's going to be good. I mean, that's basically a full season. So if you get something salvageable out of it, just hopefully we see no setbacks along the way. So,
So Juventus, the soccer organization, has also reached out to us.
is that how you pronounce it? Did I butcher it that badly?
No, I don't. I probably butchered it. So I don't know. Those guys. So that's another team. That's another organization that's reached out to us. I've heard that the girls softball is also looking at having a limited session season. I was asked by someone at some point if the fees would change if it was a shorter season, and I basically said no. If they're having a season, they're having a season. I said, if someone only wants to play a couple of games, come back to us. But all the work has still had to be done. It's not like we, and if, and I put back to them, I said, do you really think a family wouldn't pay the $30? If there was an issue with it, then come back to us. And I haven't heard anything back. So, and then men's softball, of course, they thought that they could start playing games now. So I explained to them they couldn't yet, but we would keep them posted. But they're being very, they're fine. They're great guys. They always have been. Very easy to work with.
It is slightly confusing. When you look at it, they don't leave it very clear if games cannot be played. If you have to look under fields, you can't look under sports, and people were confused. I had someone reach out from one of the older Hawk teams ask.
It is, it is confusing, and they did try to align everything more. When it first came out, it was you had to look at 3 different pages, and then none of them lined up with each other. So it was kind of like you had to mesh it together. So it's getting better, but thank you for clarifying it for those people who are asking.
Yeah, I think the good news, I think people are eager to get out there. So
Yeah.
Salvage a season and obviously salvage the field fees for us. So should be a win-win. The fields look great, so it'd be nice. It actually seemed like we needed people on them the last time I was there.
Yeah. We could also, if you can do anything about doing some rain dances, that would be good. Rain dances would be good right about now. It's very dry out there.
Oh, it looks like we're out of luck for the next week.
Yeah.
Rare around these parts, but 90 degrees this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank God for irrigation.
Yeah.
I guess this ties kind of into the field maintenance part as well. So the 6th agenda item. So I kind of just wanted to briefly update everyone on, we had discussed last time, Jeff Boyle and having Synergy Landscaping come out and take a look at the fields. So Ann and I met with Jeff, I think it was a few weeks ago, over at the new field that we just put in over at the Freeman School. And I don't know what your takeaways were. I liked them, but I think obviously, like we assumed, his prices were steep.
Well, he really, he's not from close by. He really wants to do 4 fields at a time. And I don't know that we'll always have 4 fields to do. I think that if we evaluate where we are in, 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe even a month, I think it may be worth it 1 or 2 times so we don't get behind the 8 ball. It's not easy working with DPW these days, I have to say. I asked for a head to be adjusted, and I was told it was going to happen. And then I told Justin about it, and then I asked Justin about it, and he said he was never told to do it. So I think there's a lot on Blair's plate. So I think we have to, some of it is, they are expensive. And I don't think we can, certainly can't commit to it like Needham commits to it every week or 2, what they do. Maybe we just have them come in at the end of the season. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's good to I think when we get to the point, we'll know when we need them. And it'll be good to bring them in because, just bringing them in once a year, like you said, at the end of the season could do a whole lot for us in terms of keeping the fields at a good status and not letting them kind of slowly wither away to what
Right.
them just were. So, and I will say I did speak with Barry from baseball briefly about the meeting. I kind of floated, the funding behind it. There was some interest. I think we'd need to discuss it more with them. Obviously, I think they wanted to kind of see what maybe they could do themselves, what we could get done, to see what we absolutely need to have Jeff do and what that would cost. But there was definitely some interest, so I think it's worth, keeping the discussions open. I think they were appreciative of our desire to keep the investment in the fields. So,
And if, maybe if the sponsorships work out for baseball and the banners work out for baseball, maybe that's the money that can go toward that specific type of field maintenance.
yeah, I floated that with them. They love the idea, especially if they could at least be revenue neutral on it. I think at this point they have obviously a lot they're trying to do with jamming the season in. But
Right.
I think once we get to the end of the season and we have some time over the fall and the winter to discuss it and come up with a plan for next year, I think that could factor in. I think that could be something. But if we're doing anything this year, we might have to kind of fly by the seat of our pants.
Yeah. Right.
But there was definitely interest. I think it was a positive first step. So something I think I'll keep on. We can all keep on to try to work it out. Because I think if we can keep the investment that we just put in, it'll do wonders for us.
Just one other note about the field maintenance, that we're due for another fertilization, and that will be most likely this week. They mowed today at Pond Street and they're mowing at Freeman Kennedy on Thursday. So we have to fit around the mowing schedule. So there'll be another round of fertilization now.
Well, they're looking great. So just going to keep that.
Yeah, I just want to mention on the AAA field in Freeman that I'm assuming DPW did it, and I don't know if Will and Ann, if you were there during it, but there were a couple weeds that popped up, but so somebody came around the infield and tore it all up to break up the clay and stuff. So I don't know who did that, but
is that the
we had
railroad
to
field or the AAA field?
no, the new AAA field, the one with the snack shack.
So it was the home plate area, right?
No, they did the whole infield.
So I
The
saw
whole,
it
from first base all the way over to third.
So that was Justin. Then unfortunately he did it on the day that it rained quite a bit. I was there. I actually was there with Dave. It was last Friday evening. And home plate area was a mess. There's no reason someone should leave a field that way, except he got caught in the rain, but I actually spoke to him and he actually felt badly. I mean, he said he got caught in the rain and then he went back later to try to fix it and it was still too wet to do anything. But it was not, I said something.
What I'm saying is someone took a John Deere and tore up the clay between first base and third base.
It wasn't a John Deere. It was the ABI. It was Justin. It was DPW.
Okay. I just want to know because we had to spend 2 days trying to smooth it out. That's fine. I just wanted to be aware.
Yeah, no, I saw it and I actually sent pictures to DPW right away. I think the goal, sometimes it's the translation, they wanted to get rid of the weeds, but in getting rid of the weeds, they created a much worse problem. So, and Justin did apologize, did apologize as much as, he would. But hopefully that will not happen again. I was really
because all the dressings. Yeah, because all the dressing's gone now. Still, so.
Well,
wherever it was.
There are extra bags of that, and it is. I mean, it's okay that it does get mixed in. I hear you. I mean, I don't know what we was thinking. Honestly, it's like someone says, get rid of the weeds, but you don't have to tear up the whole field. So. There's no excuse.
I understand. No, I understand you're on top of it. I just wanted you to be aware. That's all.
I saw it.
This is just reason number 1,000 to try to bring an outside landscaping company in to do some of this stuff because it just, there seems to be just a lack of knowledge on how to properly maintain the field.
I don't know. I mean, Justin has the knowledge. I don't know. I have no explanation. I really don't. Like that. I'm without words. I mean, and Dave Anderson was over there when I walked over, and he looked at me, goes, "Well, I saw your face." I couldn't believe it. I kept staring at it, like going, "What am I looking at?" So it's done. Hopefully it won't. I did ask Justin, I said, if something like that happens again, to please be in touch with me so I can let people know, so it's not a surprise to anyone when they get to the fields.
And that would be a positive communication.
Yeah. And he said, okay. You know, he agreed. He said, okay.
All right. So anyone else have anything to add? Field maintenance, field facilities? All right. So the last thing I kind of just wanted to bring up briefly was we had kind of discussed charging fees for lessons, and now that the facilities are open and functioning under phase 2, I just wanted to see, Ann, if there was any update and anything that we're going to be doing with this.
So we are charging fees. We're charging for anyone taking, and this is actually, there's an added bonus to it, because when someone registers with us, they sign a waiver. So from the liability standpoint, it's a huge plus. So we're charging for people who are taking any lessons at the courts. Most of them are tennis lessons, but it's any lessons at the courts. It's $25 it's an annual fee. Most people don't, it's sporadic that they take lessons. They don't always sign up for the same lessons, kind of thing. So they could take, maybe someone takes 10, maybe someone takes 5, maybe someone takes 2. It's still 25. It's $25 or $30. Non-residents are $30. And so far, I think we have about $900. And it'll go toward the courts.
And we're getting the waivers, like you said,
which is actually really almost more important. So
and you said the instructors have been supportive and
absolutely all in. All in.
Good. All right. Does anyone have anything else to ask on that? All right. So CPC updates, not much. We met in between the last meeting we had. We really didn't go over much other than we had a hearing on our warrant articles. So not much there. The only thing I think worth mentioning, I know we had discussed last meeting, the KP Greenway putting in a rail trail over on Pine Street in between Hill Street, Everett Street, that area. So there's a group of citizens we talked about, the Friends group they're forming to advocate for the community, learn about it, and generally just support the development of the rail trail. And they have set up their first meeting for June 23rd. So that's Tuesday, a week from today at 7 p.m. They're hosting it in person, but it's going to be outside.
Is that election day?
It is.
Okay.
It is election day, as far as I know. I think the election polls are only open till 5.
Oh, that's right.
I think. And then this is at 7. But it's a multi-town group. There's people from Rentham, Norfolk, and Plainville. And I think Walpole involved as well. So it's bringing in kind of everyone together to discuss this. So I know CPC had asked someone to go. A few people had said they were going to go. I'm put it on my calendar. I'm going to try to make it. But if anyone else from the commission would like to join, I think it's one of the more the merrier things. The more support that they can get, the happier they'll be, and the more we can report back here, because it'll probably at some point fall into our bucket to talk about or give some sort of approval or know something about it at some point. So if anyone's interested, that's happening. It's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. at the Rice Complex in Rentham. All right, so that's that. Does anyone have a preference on next meeting date? I mean, typically in the past, we haven't met in the summer, but I think because we have elections and,
Do you want me to address the water spigot?
oh, you know what? Yes, that didn't get on. Yes, please do. Thank you for reminding me.
So with the requirements for playgrounds to be, it's not a requirement that they be sanitized. I have put signs up everywhere saying that sanitation cannot be guaranteed, but we should be cleaning playgrounds, and having water at the playground would be beneficial. So I actually have gone to the playgrounds and wiped them all down and sprayed them all down with disinfectant, but I've only done it twice, and I'll go back again. I don't mind doing it. So the water, we have a spigot at the playground. There is water that comes out of it, but it comes out at a very, very slow rate. So it's not an amount that we could use for a pressure washer. And having a pressure washer, do everything at the playground would really be very beneficial. Would make things a lot easier. So I talked to Al from the water department, and one option is he fixed things to the pin near the spigot, but he doesn't know what's going on between the pin and the actual spigot. So he would have to dig that up and test the pressure. And I'm going to ask, he was going to get back to me, but then Blair got in touch with him and said that everything has to go through Blair. So I have to ask Blair to ask for the price. So, and the same with putting in the meter for the football field. I hadn't, even though he was going to do it, I was all set. Now I have to ask Blair to have it done. So I will do that and hopefully get a price, because it really, I mean, again, there's water that comes out and I could fill a bucket, but I would be standing there for 3 minutes filling a bucket. So it's not enough water to hook up to a pressure washer. So that's what that's about.
Okay. I guess the CPC, if we need funding, I guess I can push them to get it. It seemed like Cindy was open to it.
Yeah, she did. She asked why it wasn't part of, why it wasn't done originally. And we spent a lot of time on the spigots when the park was built, and we spent a lot more time on the garden spigot. And I did not, then I was told everything was all set with the spigots, and I assumed everything was all set with the spigots. I did not realize that the amount of water coming out of the other spigot was as minimal as it was until much later. And actually it wasn't coming out at all. And then they adjusted. So I had the water guys come in and do the thing with a pin, and then it's coming out a very slow rate, but it's not enough. So it's never been correct.
It'd be nice to be able to clean the place.
Yeah, it would just, high pressure water does wonders.
Just quicker too.
Yeah.
In general. All right. So that wraps that up. In the past, we haven't met over the summer, but I think with the election being late and just the general situation, it's probably wise to put a meeting on the calendar. And if for whatever reason there's nothing to discuss, we can cancel it. So Brendan, I guess you won't be here. So Mark and Liza, do you have Tuesday night?
I'll second it. Cancel it. I second canceling because I'm still here.
Tuesday nights at 7?
Yeah, that's fine.
I would say maybe we go for, what I have here, maybe the 14th or the 28th. I had the 21st is another one of those rail trail meetings. So I don't know if I want to schedule during that. So,
Sorry, say that again. 14th or the
28th.
Or the 28th.
The 4th, well, either one is okay.
Either one is fine with me.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for the 14th. So it's like pretty much a month flat. It's after the elections. We should have more information, not too close to the 4th of July. So I'd say we'll plan on it being remote again. If for some reason we can do in person, we'll do in person, but I don't see a reason why not to do it this way for now. So, all right. With that, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. In fact, you know what, Brendan, would you like to make the motion to adjourn your final meeting with us?
That was a great motion to adjourn the June meeting.
I will second that.
Anyone?
All right. All those in favor?
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Take care. Keep in touch. Bye now.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Stay safe.